So graphic pencils are a core part of the Derwent range, so a real mainstay of it. What we've found over the last few years is if we went back maybe 12, 15 years, you would have said in the market Derwent is the best quality graphite pencil in the marketplace. Over the last few years, we think others have been catching up and maybe overtaking in some cases in terms of the quality of the pencil. So we've just revisited that and we've been looking at how we make our pencil better. And so I'm pleased to say that going forward, when we've done this relaunch, which will happen June, July time, we will once again be able to say Derwent is the best quality graphite pencil in the market. And how we've changed that is a couple of different ways, first of all. In terms of the major thing, which is what the pencil's made of, the core, we've made some changes there. Don't know how many of you know how graphite is made, but when graphite pencils were first made, they were made out of solid lumps of graphite that was found in the earth. So the Derwent factory is where it was, is up in the Lake District, because there was a huge storm back in the 1300s. A big oak tree fell over, and underneath this oak tree there were these big lumps of black stuff. Didn't know what to do with it, and they actually used it for marking sheep when they first found it. But over the years, people started making pencils, putting wood round it and making very rough pencils. A lot of cottage industries grew up, and at one time there were 5 pencil factories actually in the Lake District. Derwent churned out its first pencil in 1832, and it was made of the solid graphite. Unfortunately, that graphite was used for lots of things other than making lovely drawing pencils, things like making cannonball shot, and it all got used up. Not only was it used up in the UK, but there is now no commercially mineable solid lumps of graphite left in the world. So how we make the graphite pencil now is by mining seams of dust, basically, graphite dust that are in seams. So you mine that and then you mix it with clays and binder, and that's what makes the core of a graphite pencil. So we've looked at, as a business, the elements, where we source those elements, those different elements, but also, very importantly, the temperature at which we bake those elements together to make the quality of pencil. And that's one of the main things we've changed in terms of the new range of pencil that will be coming out. So the new range is much smoother than it was before, right throughout all the grades. There's a very definite distinction between each grade, so 9B, 8B, 7B, 6B, whereas some other ranges you might find that you don't always get that distinction. And the breaking point of the pencil is improved as well. So all round a much improved product. We've also improved the livery of the pencil, so the die imprint is much stronger and clearer, and also the paint finish is improved as well. So that's the pencil itself, and then on to what it comes in. The tin livery has changed, so this has been updated for a much more contemporary look and feel. So you've still got exactly the same tins in terms of soft, medium and hard. That won't change. All your barcodes are exactly the same, and the prices is the same as well. So no change to that. It's just an improved livery and improved pencil quality. So we will let you know via Hills, obviously, when the exact launch date is, but we're looking at around about June, July time for that product to start coming through into the marketplace. Okay. To back that up, we'll be having a big launch campaign. So we're running this Choose Your Shade campaign, and that will be on social media. That's about which grade of pencil do you like to use, a 2B or 4B, etc. What's your favourite? So there'll be competitions, there'll be articles in newspapers, etc. There'll be a lot of artists talking about the product in the media generally. Okay, any questions on the graphite? No? Next one I want to talk to you about is just a little launch for a new product we've got coming out. Again, this will be around about June, July time. It's a product called Artist Black and White Set. Any of you guys sell the loose pencils at all? Loose colour pencils? Yeah? So you probably know, if you do, the most popular by a long way are your white and your black. That's the one you're always needing to reorder on. So we felt, okay, well, why don't we put those into a little 6 tin and make a set out of those. So what you'll get in here is 3 white pencils and 3 black, but they're all subtly different. There's subtle shades of white and subtle shades of black that you can use to mix together. So this tin will sell at the same price as our other coloured 6 tins, so £10.15 in the UK. And there will be, again, some workshop ideas come online. So, you know, like with the skin tones product we do, where you do different workshops of 3 different skin tones, we are going to look to do something similar with this, where we can show different workshops how you can use the different shades of white and black to build up different pictures. Okay. Any questions on that one? Feel free to have a go with them if you want to, just to see those either now or at the end of the session. Next in line, just a quick review of a product we launched this time last year, which was massively successful, and also we found so in the UK. It's a product called Line Painter, and it's unique in a couple of different ways. In each pen, we have water-soluble pigment paint inside there, and it's delivered via this very fine 0.5 Japanese nib. The unique thing about the paint in here is that it's a product called Stay Fast. And what I mean by that is when it's wet, you can use it with water. So if we put down a line and just add some water, that will just totally wash out and you can use it just like a watercolour. However, if we just come back a few minutes and let that dry, that will become permanent or stay fast, so it won't move. That allows you to build up your picture in lots of different layers without it turning into a muddy brown mess. So it's not reinvigorating the pigment underneath like it would do with watercolour. So you can build very detailed pictures. You can also put one colour next to another without getting any bleed. So you're getting some nice sharp edges with one colour next to another, and you can put light colours on top of dark colours as well. So if you were doing something like a seascape, you could just put your foam and your whites on top of the picture after you've done it. Works beautifully in terms of lots of splats and splots and dribbles. If I wanted to kind of put a spray down, I could blow on that to get some nice marks and build that into the picture. You can also put water down and get some really nice marble effects by working into water, and then if we wanted to, again, we can blow that and just let it do its own thing, and then once you let that dry, you can then go in and work on top of it and work your detail into the picture. If you want to be a bit more controlled and get controlled splatter dribble, just put the water down in a line and then we can just touch where we want the colour to be. And that will then just go where it's gone down into the line, as opposed to a bit more free-flowing, so you can work it both ways. It will work beautifully on not only white paper, but it works beautifully on black paper, because you've got these really lovely strong images. And this is kind of really shows you in more of a picture on how you might use splats and splots and dribbles, and it shows again, you know, how there's lots of different layers gone one on top of another, but you're not getting a muddy mess, you're just getting nice clean colours and lines. You can also work nicely on black. You can work inversely, so you can just take your black pen and draw into your picture, which is great, because there were lots of mistakes when this was done, and it's just a case of kind of going over and just putting black on where you've gone wrong and then drawing it over it again. So it's really easy to correct what you've done on your picture. So it works beautifully on black as well as white. And then the other thing is, because it has this stay fast property, it's not only stay fast on paper, but it's stay fast on anything porous at all. So t-shirts, hats, gloves, shoes, bags, anything you want, and you can work into it and it will become permanent once the product is dry. So this is just some work I did on a t-shirt. So that was done with a rubber stamp, basically, and then the stamp was just then coloured in using the pens, and you can see it's actually quite thick. It's almost like embroidery on there, and that's because we can just use the very fine 0.5 nib just to really go in and do delicate little detail and build that up. And this has been through the washing machine at 40 degrees, so there's no bleed or run at all on that. It stayed exactly as it was when I did it, so you still get the lovely bright colours with no bleed or run. Again, you can use it lots of different ways. So I've used it in a quite detailed way, but you can, as with the paper, if you wanted to work more and kind of work more with water on there, you can just draw on to the material, then just as long as you pick it up before it dries. You can just literally paint with it on your t-shirt, whatever design you want. You can use it and put it into sprays or spritzers. So to do that with a pen, just take your lid of your spritzer, hold it down till it floods, add a bit of water, give it a swish, and then just pour that into your spritzer or spray. And that will then allow you, again on the paper or on material, to do stencils and things. You can just stencil across. You can do background stuff on quilting. So if you've got people that do quilting, they can spray the gesseras and then just sew into it according to what you want to sew. So it's very, very versatile in terms of how you use it. If you want to do it on stamping, the way to do it on stamping is basically, again, to create an ink solution and then paint your stamp.
It's one of the most iconic in France. It's a very old paper that we sell a lot worldwide. Why? Because the quality of it.
I'm not sure if I've done this thick enough or too thick on this one, so but it will give you the idea. So again, on rubber or wood, very, very simple. And then we could go in and draw the detail like I did there. In terms of building your picture up. Stenciling, you can just do it, again, because you've got the detail, you can detail stenciling really, really easily with the pens, so very versatile and easy to use. As a by the way, the other product we use on t-shirts, don't know if any of you sell it or material, is the Inktense Blocks. So this, the caterpillar bit, was done by putting Inktense into a spritzer like that, scraping it and then spraying it and then just picking up the colour straight from the block.
The cheapest is the first one. Yeah. This size is around 10 euros.
And then just going on
And then this one
and painting directly on to your t-shirt. One of the differences between using the line painters and the Inktense on material is, with Inktense, because it's dry originally, you have to make sure that pigment is fully wet and allowed to dry before it becomes permanent. With the pens, because it's already in a liquid solution, you never have that concern. It's always, once it's dry, it's always going to be permanent. So with the Inktense, if you do something like this and you want to put it through the washing machine, which again this has been through, but what I do is you do the piece of work and then just take a plain water spray and then just spray it on the top once you've done the piece of work, just to make sure it's been fully wet and then allowed to dry. Because if you put that in with any dry pigment, as soon as that hits the water, bang, it's going to explode and run and turn it into a totally different picture. Okay, so just make sure you re-wet it with the Inktense. Anybody got any questions on the line painters, line makers? No? So the line makers, just to cover that off, because that was the other part of the launch last year, are these guys here. So this was water-soluble pigment paint. In a line maker is archival ink, basically. So it's ink, not paint. And this basically is dry from the get-go. So once you put a line down, it depends on what paper you use, actually, because some papers will keep it a little bit, it won't sink into as quickly. Normally they're the water-soluble ones. So sometimes that will move, but in general, it won't ever. So that's not moving at all, that one. So that's dry right away and won't move. So it works in a slightly different way to obviously the other paper. So it's essentially it's a fine liner. Benefit of Derwent ones, they come in this lovely packaging. So both the line maker and the line painter. The packs have been designed by a guy called Carl Griffith, who we work with, and he's online, and you can see some of his work online if you Google Derwent. So instead of just being in a plastic pack, they come in a nice arty pack, so more art orientated. Also
Do you have any question about this?
you've obviously got the Derwent livery on there as well.
So as we have a little bit of time, we present you the Excel range. Does anybody of you?
Okay, so how are we doing for time? Do we want to?
The range is
So the other thing I could talk about if we have time is, are you guys selling more of your dry colour pencils these days because of the colouring book trend? Are you getting more people coming in and wanting just normal colouring pencils? Yeah. So what I was going to do was Derwent make 4 different types of colouring pencil. He'll stock them all. We do a product called Artist, which are these ones, the green ones. Artist are our oldest range of colouring pencils. 120 pencils in the range, first started making them about 85 years ago. Then we have Studio, which is this one. The difference between Studio and Artist, the core is actually very similar. So there's not much difference in terms of the feel. This one is thinner though, and that one's thicker. And this one is in a round barrel as opposed to hexagonal. Reason for that is a round barrel, you tend to hold like this and you can be more free-flowing with it. Whereas a hexagonal is designed for more fine detail work. So you'd hold it like this and it encourages this style of grip. But in terms of the core inside, there's really not much difference between the two. The Colour Soft is a much softer, waxier pencil. So it's a lot softer than the Artist. So if you tried them, you can really feel the difference. It's better for blending because it's softer, so it's easy to blend, and it's a much quicker colour lay down. So you get a lot more colour coming off the pencil a lot quicker than you would do the Artist. So those are the benefits basically, easier to blend, quicker colour lay down, but obviously because it's softer, it doesn't keep its point for as long because it wears out quicker. So if you're somebody that does a lot of, if you get somebody come in and say they like to do a lot of detailed work, then they're probably better off with Artist or Studio, depending on how they like to hold their pencil and use it. If there's somebody that likes to work a bit more free-flowing and do lots of big bold drawings and want a soft, quick colour lay down, lots of blending, Colour Soft is. But if you let people try them, it's funny because most people, that I see at shows and things, if they pick up, they know immediately which one they prefer to use. They kind of feel it and say, oh yeah, I like the feel of this one, or I like the feel of this one more. So it's very much a how does it feel when I use it type of question for the Artist. But that's the basic difference. That one's much softer. And then the range there, that last one is a drawing pencil. Drawing is a similar consistency to Colour Soft, so a softer pencil, but it's about the colour range with drawing. There's just 24 colours in the range, and they're all what we call master's colours, so they're soft, muted colours, great for doing scenery or animals. And if you go out there, you can see on the pegboard, we've got 24 tins of Colour Soft and drawing on the pegboard. All 24 colours in the drawing will be suitable for animals or scenery, whereas some of them, if that was your chosen subject matter, and you picked up the Colour Soft one, there's lots that you wouldn't use, lots of colours you wouldn't necessarily use. So it's about getting value for your money. If you're going to buy a smaller set and you only want to draw those things, drawing gives you really good value for money if you buy those colours.